Hi everybody, welcome to my channel Narcshield. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for rejoining. If you're rejoining, thank you so much for coming if this is your first time. Tonight I wanted to discuss who your real friends are. I am a stylist in my area and I have lots of people come and talk to me about different things that are going on in their lives. And one of the things that comes up very often and has also been something that I have had to deal with in my life, and I think it's just all of us do as we are growing through different stages in our life, is who are our real friends. And today that can get a little skewed with social media. A lot of people see social media as people as their real friends when they are getting all these likes or friending people and that kind of thing. They see it as friends when it is kind of like an acquaintance in a weird way. And it's a little different for me because I'm so old school. And a lot of my really close friends I've had for 30, 40 years, So for somebody my age, it's really mind-boggling. But there are people who don't have a lot of friends personally, but they do on social media. So it might be that they talk amongst each other on social media, but they don't really see each other face to face or talk on the phone and that kind of thing. And so I do get a lot of people who talk to me about their stuff, and that's just part of us being hairdressers and you going to the salon. I'm sure if you go to a salon that you know what I'm talking about. And people will gripe about people to me, and it's always easier when you're on the outside looking in, of course. And they're like, I just don't feel like these people are being my friends. This recently happened, so I thought it would be something that I would discuss. But I don't feel like these people are really my friends. They're always contacting me when they're going through things. But then when I'm going through something, I can hear crickets. And my heart went out to this person because that is common. And I was like, well, then they're not your real friends. And I said, I hate to be like that, but that's what they're used to. They're used to you being the go-to person to complain. But then or even she was saying like she doesn't get invited and stuff like that to things. And I was like, they're using you to be an ear when they need an ear and they have nobody else. And this happens a lot, and I understand this. I've had this happen to me. So if you're a codependent type person, you're always giving of yourself, but you're not receiving. And you will continue to give of yourself because you don't want people to not like you. So even if you may feel some resentments and notice something like that, you continue hoping that those people will see that you're a really good friend, and that if you get upset in some way or you try to say something, that they'll understand where you're coming from. And I'm not saying everybody's a narcissist in this situation, but many times if you are someone who gives, and you're never receiving anything back, and you don't create certain boundaries, and you might create a boundary, but then you let people walk all over that boundary, and yet you're still always there for them, and still have nobody there for you, and your cup is always empty, and you find yourself in that position a lot, whether it be in your romantic relationships, your work relationships, your friendships, your family relationships, that kind of thing. You need to take a step back and start to question things a little bit. And it's okay to be somewhat selfish, to take care of yourself and not always be that listening ear for someone. And I know this for a fact. And it's when you notice those things that you may have to pull back and reevaluate your friendships and say, okay, I don't ever hear from them unless something's going on with them. And when something really bad is going on and they need that listening ear, or they need somebody to validate them, that's when they're calling me. Could be that they're going through a breakup. Could be that, they lost their job. Whatever it is, they're always coming to you for that stuff and kind of dumping on you. And of course you love them. And so you want to give and you want to be there and support them. However, where are they otherwise? That's not being a friend. It's the same in any type of relationship. It should be more balanced. And when you see that it isn't balanced, you need to reevaluate. And so I was saying to this person, I was like, maybe these are more acquaintances and not really friends. And you have valued them so much more. And I said, just because they're not valuing you as a friend doesn't mean that you aren't worth anything. That's their problem. They see you as valuable when they need you for something. But when they don't need anything and they just want things the way they want, they're ignoring the fact that this person may need something. And I've had this happen to me. So this isn't something that I'm just like, talking about with someone else. And I have had to think about that. And I was telling this person this, and this person is much younger than me. But I was like, I have been through this in my life. And I was like, it's horrible when you have to mourn, the friendships that you thought you had, because when you're always there for someone and you're filling their cup, you can think that they are friends. But then if there are those times where you're like, okay, something happened and you needed them and you can hear crickets, or they're not inviting you to things and they're doing things with other people, and you still try to connect and do things with them outside of the times that they've needed you for mental, moral support, whatever, and they're not responding at all, but you see them doing it with everybody else, that's an acquaintance. And it may be that they're not even really your friends. And so that's only for us to really step back and decide when we're looking at the people that surround us. But in all relationships, it shouldn't just be one person giving and the other person taking. It should be a balanced thing. And, it shouldn't be breadcrumbing, somebody just dipping in every now and again, and then bouncing, and everything has to be on, the way that they do things, and they never consider your feelings, your time, what's going on in your life, but you're expected to do that for them at the drop of a hat. And so I was saying to her, I was like, and I've said this before, when, because I remember my grandmother talking about how, you'll have a handful of friends if you're lucky. And I used to think I had a ton of friends. But what I really had was a ton of acquaintances. And, back then, I used to like to go out all the time, and it's like, let's have fun, and the most people you can get, and this, that, and the other. But really, when it came down to it, who were my real friends? Who were with me through the hard times and stuck with me, the good times, and just hung in there, even when things were uncomfortable, and vice versa. Those are your real friends, and it can be very painful when you realize, oh my gosh, I was just a filler. Because if you have low self-esteem, you wonder what's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. They just were self-serving. And it's time to find a new group of friends. And so I was saying it may be time to find a new group of friends. And sometimes, depending on where you are in life, if you're someone who's growing, you may grow out of certain friends and have to leave them somewhat behind. You can still be kind, but you may not be in the same place as them, and you've moved forward. And so things are kind of unbalanced and uncomfortable there. And because she was saying, well, they seem to think that I'm boring for this reason and that. And she gave me all these excuses. I was like, you're not boring. I was like, you're not boring at all. Your lives are just different. You're in different places in your life. And so, it may be at some point that you're back at the same place again, and you may reconnect again. But right now you're not. And so she's putting all her eggs in one basket and having these high expectations of these people that, they're not giving her what she needs. And we, in toxic relationships, both parties in the toxic relationship can be passive aggressive. And listen, people cannot read your mind. You need to speak up. And when you do speak up about your feelings, and someone makes excuses or puts you down or turns it on you in any way, instead of being understanding that those are your feelings, that is how you feel about what has happened, and they may not have seen it that way because they're not you. If they cannot step in and put themselves in your shoes or not even try to empathize with you, that's an unbalanced relationship. If you're able to do it with them and not vice versa, you know, your expectations of certain people may have to lower. And fill your cup some other way. And it may be that you need to learn how to fill your cup for yourself and not expect other people to make you happy. However, we all like to have friends, and we all want to be supported, and connecting is something that all humans and animals, I mean, you know, it's what we do, right? It's part of survival. And otherwise, you know, people get depressed and things like that. So we do need to support each other. But choosing your friends wisely is important. I know that we've heard that a lot, you know, growing up at different times. You know, when you're younger, it's like, choose your friends wisely. You don't want to hang out with people who are going to get you in trouble because you're going to follow you know, if you're the follower. Are you the follower? Are you the leader? Are you someone who just kind of goes along with everything because you want people to accept you? We all want to be accepted in some way. And so people do things for whatever reason. We're all different. And so we have to deal with why we do certain things in our own way. And that may be that we have to go to therapy and figure those things out. But having value, it's like, you know, well, they don't value me and it's their fault they don't value, you know, what, you know, it's like, value you. You value you. And if they aren't valuing you, then you recognize that, you see it for what it is, and you don't have such high expectations, and you're not going to get hurt. And being passive aggressive, you know, like, it's like, well, if I do this, you know, if I you know, bow out for a while and they don't hear from me, one of the comments was, they probably wouldn't even notice. If I gave them silent treatment, they probably wouldn't even notice. And I was like, and what does that tell you? And I know that's painful, but if they didn't even notice, why is the value so high for them? Why are they on that pedestal? You know, listen, we can love people from afar, and, you know, we're all human beings, and we don't always understand each other, and we've all gone through our own things in life and gained our coping skills and relating skills, you know, however we did. But we're all here and can grow from those things. And if you can recognize certain things and grow, then that's great. And your relationships may benefit from that. But I was like, it may be that you stop looking at those friends. When I was talking to this person, stop looking at those friends to fill your cup and start looking inward at what's going on with you and why you would continue to expect them to be more like you, more empathic, more caring, more supportive, more giving. And, you know, hang around with people that value you because you value you, and hang out with those, you know, I was saying earlier on my social media page, you know, even dating, if someone is hiding you in any way, whether with their friends, their family, their social media, phone, whatever it is, if they're hiding you, that's a major red flag. That's not a friend. That's not a relationship. That's not somebody you should be in a relationship with. You are worth being known. And it's like, why would that person hide you? What's going on in their life? And it's, you know what? It's like, I don't need to figure it out. You go and figure out you and why you're doing that. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to be happy and fill my own cup. But I know my worth and I know that I'm not going to put up with that. And it just takes learning and time. And I get it. I mean, I certainly have loved people in my lifetime and not understood them and wanted and wished, you know, for them to treat me in a way that I would treat them. But that's projecting ourself onto them, and they're going through their own process and of learning about themselves, hopefully. If not, hopefully they will. But instead, take a step back and say, I'm expecting too much from this person. They obviously are, when I speak up and I say how I feel, if they get mad and upset and they turn it around on you, like it's, you know, you're being too sensitive, or you're just, you know, you're always mad, or this, that, you know, it's, you're always complaining about me. And it's like, well, it's because I'm not getting my cup filled back. Okay, well, you know what? That person, they're being honest about their feelings, and it's time to walk away from that and go, this is an acquaintance for me. I don't want to be rude to them when I see them. I'll be super happy for them. I may not always be around when they need me as an ear. You know, if I have the time and I want to do it, you know, I will do that. But you're not a doormat. You're not a doormat. And people will treat you like a doormat as long as you believe that you're the doormat. And I know from personal experience. So the key is learning your own value and learning what you love in life and what makes you happy. And if somebody isn't treating you the way you want, it's not going to ruin your day. It's not going to ruin, you know, your month, your year. You lower those expectations. I hope that helps a little bit. I know it isn't always what we want to hear, but the key really is to looking inward. And so I hope that helps. Until next time, thank you so much. I hope you'll like, share, and subscribe. And I hope that we can all support each other and get awareness out in any way that we can. And the first step is being aware about yourself as well, and loving yourself, and continue to love other people too and have empathy, but there's got to be the balance. So until next time, stay healthy. Bye.